Time to pay some bills. Yo! What's good, everybody? We got a special video today. We got some of my favorite right here. You got me spend my IG at CashNasty. Top 15 stupid zoo guests. What were they thinking? You guys know I love these type of videos right here, bro. Let's go and get to it.
This man entered a lion enclosure at a zoo and almost pays for his stupidity with his life. Some people just shouldn't leave the house. Here are the top 15 most stupid zoo guests.
Like it don't make no sense. It don't make no sense. Like, you're not Tarzan. Like, what do you think you are? You human. You nothing special. We just so happen and got a better conscience of thinking. Put it that way. And we just take away from the animal kingdom, man. You know, we taking away their territory, bro. We making all this, you know, things out of wood, everything, man. We humans, bro, we are the aliens, bro. We're the only creatures, like I always tell you the other day, bro. We're the only creatures that's literally on the planet that has to manipulate their environment to live here. Everybody else, just living.
Number 15, entering a lion enclosure. What's the craziest thing you've ever done after drinking too much? Most of us have a few stories that we're not entirely proud of, but some people completely lose control of their...
I got a lot of them stories. Maybe one day when I'm old and, you know, everything like that, might do a podcast, man. You guys ain't gonna believe this shit I've been in my life so far. Telling you, like, you know, but we gonna focus on paying bills right now.
...actions. And when they happen to be at a zoo at the time, things can soon become incredibly dangerous. In 2016, guests at the Nehru Zoo Park in Hyderabad, India, were terrified to see a man deciding to cool off in the water, which was 12 feet below the viewing platform of the lion enclosure. Onlookers frantically screamed at him to stay still until...
Man, he not seen this. This ain't doing nothing, bro. He see raw beef. This don't mean nothing to him, bro. You giving him a sneak peek of what's to become. Bro, this is a whole entree, bro. You about to...
Until the park rangers could bring him to safety. But the man ignored their pleas and continued to wade through the water towards the waiting lions. Singing to himself, he tried to shake hands with the lions, but luckily for him, they were completely uninterested. Eventually, zoo workers were able to lower a pole and hauled him out.
They gotta be feeding them good. They feed them
lions
lions good, bro.
Offenses under the wildlife
Boy, you wasn't in a safari?
It just so happens that the
Going
time
right
he
for the
jumped
neck.
in was the lions' feeding
Telling you,
time.
man.
So when the keepers called out to them, they knew they were about to be fed. Had this not
Exactly,
been the case, they would have almost certainly attacked the man, and jail time would have been the least of his concerns.
Bro, they wasn't going to attack, they was going to eat. What you talking about? Two different things. Eating and attack, two different things, bro. They see nothing but food. That's all they see. They try to survive, bro. That's how they pay their bills.
He was also lucky that they were so well
Man,
trained.
these headsets probably going to die,
If they had
y'all.
done this in virtually
These
any
headsets
other
got
zoo,
charged.
even the thought of a big juicy steak wouldn't be enough to deter their natural instinct to hunt. Number 14, retrieving a hat. When you're on a day out in hot weather, you need to make sure you're adequately protecting yourself from the sun. This can be done by applying lotion or wearing a hat, but the risks of being
Black people ain't got them problems.
sunburned are far less than what might happen.
But I still got to put lotion on. Come tell you right now, bro. I can play Connect 4 on my legs right now, bro. I be that ashy.
If you're confronted by a ferocious wild animal. In 2016, a visitor to the Toronto Zoo was faced with a dilemma when her hat was caught by a gust of wind and blew beyond a safety fence. Instead of forgetting about it and buying a new one from the zoo's gift shop, she decided to jump over the fence to retrieve it. Problem was, this meant she had entered the tiger enclosure. And despite there being a second fence that separated her from the big cats, it was still too close for comfort.
She's worried about
meal, one of the tigers lunged towards her.
Her
she could
top,
have very easily been
knowing
severely injured.
that tiger wanted to put her top back
and jump back over the fence.
Stupid,
Onlookers shouting at her, calling her a moron.
Stupid.
But it could have ended very differently. Zoo officials were unaware of what happened until videos were shared online later that day, and immediately launched an investigation to find eyewitnesses so they could ban the woman from visiting again, and potentially launch legal action against her for recklessness.
Stupid, man.
Number 13, skinny dipping. Aquariums are a great place to see the wonders of marine life from around the world in a safe and controlled environment. But there are some people who feel like several inches of reinforced perspex doesn't allow them to get as close to the animals as they would like. In 2018, a man from British Columbia was visiting the Ripley's Aquarium in Toronto when he decided to strip naked and take a...
Ripley's. Believe it or not, we got stupid people like this existing. Man, some of y'all people lucky, bro, that we not back in, way back then in the survival days, man. We spoiled. You know what I mean? The battle of the fittest days, those days, caveman days. Y'all wouldn't make it. Y'all genetic pool would be cut off. Doing this stupid stuff right here, man. What are you thinking? You too stupid to reproduce. Coffee bloodline right there.
A plunge in one of the tanks. The problem was this wasn't a tank full of harmless fish, but was the venue's main attraction that was full of sharks. Frightened guests saw him splashing about while these giant
Ripley's,
swam
believe
around
it or
beneath
not.
him, and security guards were soon on the scene. They told him
And
to
I'm
leave,
believing
but just
it
as
now.
it looked as if he was about to do as he was asked, he did a backflip into the water and swam around for a few more minutes before
Butt
leaving
naked.
for good.
Bro,
According
go
to
to
the
prison,
aquarium,
bro.
their policy is not to detain guests who are willingly leaving the building. But he was soon picked up by police who
Go
had
to
linked
prison.
him to another crime that had been committed earlier
Go to
in the
prison. You
evening.
butt naked too. We got children out here looking at this, bro. Go to
12.
prison.
Up close with a panda. Bears are notoriously dangerous animals, and
Yep.
usually are much larger than people, with sharp claws and ferocious temperaments.
You're not running away from a bear. Go watch the clip, bear climbing a tree. And come back and leave a comment after that. That thing can go. You're not running from it, bro. You're not climbing a tree on it.
Panda bears, however, are surprisingly small and appear to be quite docile, which is probably why people tend to think they're much safer to be around. That's not necessarily the case, however, as a visitor to the Nanchang Zoo in Jiangxi Province, China, found out in 2016. The man, identified as Chen, had seen the panda called Mei Ling asleep in its enclosure, so he decided to lower himself to get a closer look at the animal. He walked through the exhibit and waved at Mei Ling, but failed to get a response. He decided to get even closer and touch the bear.
You do not deserve to. You got these type of people reproducing people and making more stupid people.
It was at this point that it woke up. The bear then proceeded to wrestle the man in an attempt to protect itself. And
Yeah,
was
he's
clearly
right.
overwhelmed by how powerful it proved to be.
Yup, the bear
man
right.
manages to free himself from the clutches of the bear, escaped the enclosure, and after a medical
That bear right.
examination, was found to be uninjured.
That bear right.
As to why he decided to do this in the first place, police said he had visited the zoo with 2 female companions and was simply trying to show them how brave he was.
Beta. There's nothing alpha about this. Them 2 girls left with video of you and showing they alpha man how stupid you were.
Number 11. Child in a gorilla enclosure. There is a fine line in the design of zoos between keeping the animals safely inside their enclosures while letting visitors get close enough to see them. And on occasions, this has led to some frightening situations.
Look at LSK.
One of the most famous took place in August of 1986 at the Durrell Wildlife Park on the island of Jersey in the Channel Islands, when a young boy managed to find himself inside the gorilla enclosure. 5-year-old Levin Merritt had been playing and climbing on a wall above the enclosure while his parents were looking elsewhere. But he slipped and fell onto the concrete floor, and in the process was knocked unconscious. Crowds gasped as Jambo the gorilla moved toward...
That gorilla is thick. You can't look past it, bro.
...the boy, but amazingly, instead of attacking like everyone expected, he stood over the boy to protect him from other gorillas in the enclosure. Jambo had never seen a human child up close like this before, but his protective instincts kicked in. At one point, he even stroked the boy's back to try to make sure he was doing okay. When Merritt awoke and cried out for help, the gorillas all backed off, so a paramedic and zookeepers could enter and rescue him. Needless to say, the owners of the zoo installed new safety perimeters so this couldn't happen again. But if someone's intent on entering an enclosure that contains dangerous animals, there's very little anyone can do to stop them.
Right, alright. Where's the dad? Where's the mama? I'm hopping in there, bro. If that's my son, I'm hopping in there. I'm picking him up. I'm throwing him back overboard, and I'm sacrificing my body. Some cowards.
Number 10.
Good
Swimming
stuff
with
out of
polar
gorilla,
bears.
though.
Zoos install safety barriers and warnings to prevent people from coming face to face with the dangerous animals that they have on show. But sometimes there's nothing you can do to combat stupid. It's something that's never been clearer than what happened at the Berlin Zoo in 2009, when a woman decided to take her life into her own hands by going for a swim in the polar bear enclosure. It was feeding time and 6 keepers were in around the area about to drop pieces of meat in for the bears. But for some reason, the 32-year-old thought that this was the opportune moment to leap over a fence, a line of prickly hedges, and a wall to reach the water. She swam directly towards the bears and was excited as she did so, but she soon realized her mistake.
Ah! Man, I'm there probably looking like, bro, grabbing like it's a filet mignon on her back, man.
One of the bears bit her a number of times on her arm, and her
Never tasted this before. Why not get some more? It's feeding time.
leg before the keepers were able to push it back and lower a rope to pull her free. Just as she appeared to be safe, she fell from the harness back into the water, and the bears began to approach her again. But luckily, on the second attempt, she was lifted to safety. It was never clear why she did this, but after weeks in the hospital to recover from her injury,
go to jail. You need to go to jail.
It's unlikely she'll be in too much of a hurry to do it again.
She need to go to jail for that.
Number 9. Don't leave your car. Drive-through safari parks are popular visitor attractions around the world. And while you're probably all too aware of the risks that your windscreen wipers may be stolen by mischievous monkeys, or that you might encounter a curious lion that walks over to your vehicle.
See, you guys know what my goals is. What I'm going to do. I'm going to go to Africa one day, and I'm a vlogging and everything, man. You know my experience. But you guys know I be doing this right with the tourists and everything. I need all doors, man. All this open door stuff. I need doors.
One of the most obvious safety precautions at places like these is that you should stay inside your car at all times. A French family seemingly missed this piece of advice on visiting the Bergen Safari Park near the Dutch city of Tilburg in 2018. However, as video footage shows them and their children leaving their car to get a closer look at the cheetahs, the cats suddenly leap up when they spot the stupid guests and begin to prowl around them to plan their attack. Suddenly,
what y'all thought? Y'all thought these cheaters are paid actors? Like, you see that boy prowling like this? Boy, they see you as food.
Leap up when they spot the stupid guests and begin to prowl around them to plan their attack.
Yup.
The family are surrounded by the cheetahs and realize the danger they put themselves in, and were able to run back to the safety of their car before the wild animals moved in for the kill. The safari park owners said they were extremely lucky to have made it out.
Bro, them things could have told both y'all. Bro, y'all lucky. Y'all lucky right here. Man, them things could have, man.
Out alive, and even though guests are told in several languages that they must stay in their vehicles, there's still a few each year that take a risk like this.
Please don't tell me she carrying a child, man. Man, child custody take the children away, man. Yup, I said it. Just stupid, man. What are y'all thinking, man?
There's still a few each year that take a risk like this.
Why are you bringing a child out the car?
We're constantly adding more people to the Top 5's production team to bring you all the best content. Be sure to subscribe with notifications on and hit the like button. Number 8, throwing snowballs. Despite the best efforts by zookeepers and most owners, there's no escaping the fact that containing animals within artificial enclosures is inherently unfair to the creatures, and it's no substitute for the lives they would have had in the wild. Quite often, they'll sit around without much to do. Things are only made worse when idiotic guests decide to try to encourage them to do something. This footage was recorded at the lion enclosure at Amsterdam Zoo. The stunning cats are minding their own business when a group of visitors begins throwing snowballs at them. Unsurprisingly, this riles the lions, who leap up into an aggressive posture, not just because they're being tormented, but because snow isn't exactly something they're used to coming into contact with. When they realize there's nothing they can do to prevent attack, the lions start to huddle together to protect each other. It's a horrific example of how stupid people can be when visiting a zoo, and is definitely not appropriate behavior. Number 7, Jaguar Selfie. With the advent of Instagram and the fact that we all now have powerful cameras on our smartphones, it's rare to go anywhere without seeing someone taking a selfie. Sometimes the quest for the perfect image can put you in danger. In March of 2019, a visitor to the Wildlife World Zoo in Arizona learned this the hard way after jumping over a protective barrier to take a photo of herself with a jaguar in the background. There was still a fence between her and the animal, which she stupidly believed would mean she was safe. But the big cat had other ideas. As she turned her back on it, it swiped its paw through the gap in the fence and slashed her arm, leaving huge gashes. Onlookers helped to distract the jaguar to make it let go of her, but by that time the damage had been done. She was rushed to the hospital to be treated.
All this for some clout, man.
To her family for her quick recovery. The owner said in an interview that there's no way to fix people going over barriers if they don't realize that they're there for a
Facts,
reason.
the cat should still be alive. Do not kill the cat.
Number 6.
All this for
Throwing
clout.
rocks. Pandas are notoriously lazy creatures, and if you ever see one in a zoo, the chances are it won't be moving around much and will spend most of its time sitting in one position. This can be frustrating for excited guests, however, and some decide to take things into their own hands to make things more interesting. In this footage, which was recorded in Beijing Zoo in 2019, instead of shouting at the bear, which would have been bad enough, 2 guests started pelting the panda with rocks to try to wake it up. According to the person who filmed it, the first person threw smaller rocks, and the second person, who was not caught on camera, threw larger pieces over the space of 30 minutes. Fortunately, on this occasion, the panda wasn't injured at all and continued on with its usual daily routine. But there's no way the culprits could have known that...
As if it's not going through misery right now with you humans just mocking them. In a fake habitat in a fucking capsule, bro. He's basically in prison. It's just like poking a stick in a prisoner, man.
that would be the case. By the time the zoo found out about it, it was too late to track them down and punish them. But anyone caught doing something like this is rightfully charged and imprisoned for animal cruelty.
Which is good. Yep.
Number 5. Etching names on a rhinoceros. Ever since humans have been able to write, they've been obsessed with etching their names onto things. Graffiti has been found on Roman ruins and even older structures that prove this is true. But have you ever heard of someone carving their name into a living animal? That's what an idiotic couple decided to do in 2019 at the La Palmer Zoo in southwestern France. Officials noticed something unusual about one of the rhino's backs, and upon closer inspection found the names of Camille and Julien had been scratched into the dirt and flaky skin. The zoo has an exhibit where guests can get close to the animals with just a small barrier between them, so they can stroke them and really get a feel for what the animals are like. But the idea of marking one of them like this is unforgivable. The zoo said in a statement that they were outraged by the stupidity and disrespect shown by the two visitors.
Highly disrespectful. Yeah.
And while they wouldn't be prosecuting them, they wouldn't be welcome back. As for the words that had been left on the rhino, it was nothing that a scrub with a brush couldn't remove, and it was probably completely unaware that it had been done in the first place. Number 4. Man versus spider monkeys. Brazil is home to some of the most biodiverse regions.
Hey man,
in
them
the
monkeys
world.
be strong, man.
That if anyone was aware of how
they be
dangerous
strong,
some animals can
bro.
be and the importance of respecting them, then it would be the people who have
They
grown
hanging
up
on
there.
branches all day,
It
man.
seems though that alcohol causes all knowledge of this to disappear, and in 2011 a man was caught on camera doing something incredibly stupid. João Leite dos Santos was a mechanic from Sao Paulo, later admitted he had been drinking all day before visiting the nearby Sorocaba Zoo, but had no memory of what happened when he got there. On the video, he's...
Nah, boy, you doing... Boy, you doing more than... Boy, you got a... I don't know what type of combo. They ain't a double combo. You doing a trio combo, man. There's no way you drinking all day and you just randomly pop up in a spider monkey zoo river, man. From drinking. I drank all day before. No. There's no excuse. You didn't smoke. You did something else with it.
Seen climbing over a fence, jumping into a pool, and then swimming towards a group of spider
man, look how
monkeys
skinny you are, man.
in the
Yeah,
enclosure.
man. Bro, you like a crackhead. I gotta say it. I gotta say it.
These animals are definitely not as friendly as they may seem. They gathered by the water's
Oh, yeah,
edge and
bro.
started reaching out for him.
I know crackheads who wouldn't even go do this, man. And crackheads got superpowers. They not doing this.
Perhaps mistakenly thinking they were trying to rescue him from the water. The man gets even closer. But when he's within reach, one of the monkeys sunk its teeth into his wrist, and another started biting his shoulder and arm. Unbeknownst to him, spider monkeys are highly territorial and felt threatened the moment he had crossed the fence. Realizing he'd made a huge mistake, Dos Santos headed back towards the fence, where several zookeepers helped to pull him to safety and administered medical assistance. The bites were so severe that he was taken to hospital to be treated, and police began building a case to charge him for reckless behavior.
Reckless, man.
Number 3. Chinese
Stupid,
peacocks. Peacocks are some of the most beautiful birds you'll find anywhere in the world, with huge plumes of feathers that branch out.
They be aggressive, man. They be in zoos, man. They be aggressive,
bro. With such stunning
bro.
patterns, people often like to collect the feathers, but usually this is only done by searching for ones that have fallen off naturally. In 2018, however, a group of tourists who were visiting the Zuyuan Zoo in Jiangsu, China, did something unimaginable. They jumped into the peacock enclosure and started to pluck feathers from 4 of the birds. They removed so many that the peacocks hardly had any left by the end of the ordeal, and they were bleeding profusely from where they had been attacked. Fortunately, none of them died as a result. They were quickly taken from the enclosure to a quarantine facility where they were treated and began to recover. In a worrying twist, one of the managers from the zoo said this wasn't the first time someone had tried to do this, and there simply weren't enough staff to keep an eye on people's behavior all the time. This particular enclosure had 41 peacocks with just 3 members of staff assigned to look after them, which is nowhere near enough to make sure they are safe with so little fencing to separate people from them.
Bro, man, you cop blocking, bro. That's how they mate, bro. That's how the males mate. How you gonna put the jury on ours right here, man? Go do your thing. These dudes try to do their thing too, man. This their Rolex. That's they muscle. That's they flags. Oh, man. Come on, man. He try to get in do his thing too, just like you.
Number 2, kidnapping a penguin. Penguins are undoubtedly some of the coolest birds on Earth. Because they usually live in such hostile or difficult to reach environments, the only places people are normally able to see them is in a zoo. The fact that they seem so happy to be in artificial enclosures is misleading.
I see it lick, bro.
To be in the open ocean.
Like a polar bear lick, bro. Like it's so easy.
Means that not only are they one of the most popular
they be tossed around, ate up, chopped up.
Often think they make for great pets and would be fine if they were around people.
I see food when I see them. Food resource.
In 2012, after an evening of heavy drinking, 2 Welsh friends who were traveling through Australia thought it would be funny to try to rescue one of the penguins from the SeaWorld on Queensland's Gold Coast. They brazenly broke into the venue with a local after attending a nearby beach party. And then the 3 of them started by swimming in a pool with dolphins.
Where was you going to take this penguin? You're not in Antarctica, bro. How you gonna get the what do people be drinking nowadays, bro? Like, I know Hennessy making this stupid shit, but man, bro, 2 brain? That's 2. Oh my god.
Once they got out, they found a fire extinguisher, which they set off in the shark tank, and then they turned their sights on the penguins. They carefully entered the enclosure and caught a 7-year-old fairy penguin called Dirk and took it home with them. According to statements that were filed during their prosecution, the friends woke up the next morning with the penguin in their apartment and had no memory of how it had got there. They tried to look after it by feeding it and putting it in the shower to keep it wet, but once they realized how difficult this would be, they tried to set the penguin free in a nearby canal.
Oh, I didn't see them over, bro. I can't believe some people just this stupid.
Thankfully, a group of locals saw them doing this and had heard of the incident at the aquarium, so they called the police, who quickly arrested the men and made sure the penguin was returned safely to its enclosure. The 2 men were then charged for trespassing and theft and were fined $1,000 each, which is the equivalent of around $720.
Man, he a black man. He could be sitting in there, bro. That's it.
1. Taipei lion enclosure. While they aren't the largest species of cat in the world, lions have somewhat of a reputation for being some of the most dangerous and unpredictable ones, so are probably the last animals you'd want to willingly enter a cage with, especially without any experience or protective equipment. In 2004, though, a man in Taiwan did possibly the stupidest thing to ever take place in a zoo by doing just that. He had been visiting Taipei Zoo and, according to eyewitness reports, seemed to become possessed.
Bro, these lions be like they be on steroids, y'all. You know what I mean? Like, you guys know them steroid dudes be in the gym. very vascular. His skin look like almost like paper. Look like they always about to go and compete. Got veins just popping out, random muscles. Bruh, if you know, you know, bro. This crazy how these lions be so lean, bro. You know? Crazy.
Intent on converting the lions to Christianity. He jumped over the fence into the possessed and intent on converting the Taipei Zoo, and according to eyewitness reports, seemed to become possessed and intent on converting the lions to Christianity.
What?
He jumped over the fence into the
Man, these lions don't want to hear no Bible. Man, get the hell away from me with this Bible, man. Man, I'm about to go send you to your creator to tell your creator that you just did the most stupidest shit you ever did in your life. And you taste good. Oh my gosh. This dude's shirt tucked in. Bible. He's preaching the word, ladies and gentlemen.
Enclosure, and started shouting towards them that Jesus would save them. The two cats, a lion and a lioness, ignored him at first, but this just made him try harder. He started asking them to bite him, and eventually they did just that. They leapt towards him, attacked his right arm, and tore his clothes to pieces. Amazingly, the zookeepers were on the scene quickly and were able to deter the lions with water hoses and tranquilizer darts, and they were able to get the man to safety. Despite the ordeal, he somehow managed to get away with just minor injuries to his arm and leg, something the keepers said happened because the lions had only just been fed. If they were hungry when the man entered, there's no chance he would have made it out alive. Investigations into the man found that he was a patient at a psychiatric hospital called Cheng Chong Ho. And
makes sense, bro. He's a patient. Oh my gosh, bro. It makes sense now, bro.
Most likely he was suffering from
mental
a
health
delusion
is
that
real,
made him
y'all.
believe he was
Mental
living
health
a
is
real-life
real, y'all.
version of the story of Daniel in the lion's den from the Bible. Perhaps it truly was a miracle that he survived, or that he was just extremely lucky.
Oh, he probably was preaching the word. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, man. We out here. Everybody, bye!